All right. We're up and running. How's everybody doing tonight? Excuse me. I'm alive. No, but for real, how is everyone doing tonight? I had a very hectic day. It was fun. Got through it. I accepted a job offer. And I was doing information for background checks and getting all that prepped. So it's loads of fun. How'd the faucet go? Well, my back hurts really bad. And it's fixed. It works. I'm able to wash my dishes. I had to change out 2 shutoff valves. So I did that, changed out the faucet. I really wish that I had changed out the sink at the same time. But one thing at a time, right? Aside from being in an uncomfortable position up underneath the cabinet on my back, the faucet went well. About as well as can be expected for a homeowner's fix. I only had to go to the hardware store twice. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's like I took a gamble on some hoses. And I bought the wrong one, so I did have to go back and I did have to go back and return the wrong size and get the right size. But other than that, everything else went pretty well. So I can't complain about anything other than back pain, which I'm feeling a lot today. So loads of fun. For anyone watching, I am taking a break from this large cube I've been working on. I've got it up to the height that I want it. I got the height and length, or the length and width, I guess, and now I need the height. So this is coming along nicely, but this is something I'm hoping someone will eventually buy from me, whereas this is a stainless steel and bronze cube that I'm making, a little 10 by 10. And this is a paid job, so gotta work on these first. Unfortunately, I'm running into an issue. Okay, so when you order from the Ringlord, it's been hit or miss lately. Right? Their quality control got a little out of control as they changed hands from one owner to the next. And some of the rings you get from them are not quality. And that was my last project, the giant 30-pound chainmail cube, right? These I ordered an ounce to see if they would work for this because the aspect ratio was a little lower than what I'm used to for making cubes, but it works perfect. It works just fine. And so the issue is that they don't have any more in stock, and I don't know if I have enough rings to make a 10 by 10 cube out of this. So we will see. It's always a fun game. Hopefully they get a restock soon and it won't be an issue and all the rings will be perfect. We'll see what happens. I don't want to be waiting months to finish this commission. You know what I mean? So that's what we're working on tonight. These are 18 gauge standard wire gauge, 1/8 diameter rings. and they work. The aspect ratio is 2.6, and for aspect ratio, it's the diameter. It is the inner diameter divided by the wire diameter, right? So it's a number of times you can take a ring and stack. That looks awkward. It's a number of times you can take a ring and then stack the wire inside of it, basically. It's a measurement we use to figure out what rings can be used for what weave, and what ring sizes are best for what weaves. It's a step in the right direction, because for a long time the chainmail industry was measured in inches and fractions, and now we're getting a standardization across the board of being measured in, or the aspect ratio is being provided with the ring size, and the ring size is measured in millimeters, and it's better all round in general. So I'm happy about that. So these will work for the cube. I just might not have enough of them, which will suck, but it is what it is. And then today I spent the day filling out paperwork and getting ready. I've got to go. What do they want? They want a substance screen. I don't know if I can use the regular term. A background check and something else. A physical. So I might have to go do a physical. I will probably have to go do a physical. I will probably have to go do a substance screening. And that makes more sense for this. Millimeters makes more sense for the size. Yeah, I think so. You know, especially when you're measuring tiny wire diameters, like, yeah, okay, you can do 0.016 inches, but how many people understand, what is it called, imperial English measurements? Yeah, I use millimeter for 3D printing too. Yeah. Well, in you know, different systems are applicable to different things, like measuring liquid in ounces and stuff like that. So, physical, substance screening, background check. Got to get through that, and then my new employment should be starting. It's going to be, as of right now, it'll be the second week of October when I start. And it seems like it's going to be a good fit. We'll see. I was looking for employment where I could still go and drop my kid off in the morning and then pick him up in the afternoon, and he wouldn't have to go to after school care. He could stay on his regular schedule of coming home and doing his homework. What diameter would be good to make a jelly cube with 14 gauge wire? Okay, is the 14 gauge wire standard wire gauge or American wire gauge? I'm going to guess it's American wire gauge, but I could be wrong. If you can figure that out, I might be able to tell you. Might be able to figure out a diameter. We'll work backwards. What kind of job? I'm an RN, and so I'll be doing some home health, like wound care and medication organization, nutrition teaching. Okay, it's American wire gauge. Okay. See if I have my chart anywhere here. Maybe it's in one of these. Let's see here. Let's go here. Okay. So 14 is 1.62 millimeters, 0.064. Okay, let's do some algebra. Okay. If the inner diameter divided by the wire diameter equals 1.62, then 1.62, or no, I'm gonna have to write this out. You're trying to do math in my head. Okay. Okay, 1.62 divided by, x divided by 1.62 equals, let's say, 2.6 or 2.65, right? So 1.62, multiply both sides by 1.62, x equals x equals 2.65. Let's try that. 65 times 1.62 equals 4.29, so 4.3 millimeters, 4.29 millimeters, right? Okay, now go to Google, convert 4.29 millimeters to inches. 0.1688976. Okay, 0.1688976 inches to fractions. 0.16 as a fraction of an inch. 4/25. 4/25 as a fraction? So it's just under 1/5. Trying to. What is the closest fraction to 4/25? 4/25. Let's write that down. Okay, could do a reverse multiple wire by desired error, should give idea. Yeah, and that's coil size after spring back. Right. So if you're wrapping your own rings and they're any wire with any springiness on them, you're going to have spring back. So be sure to account for that. But what is the closest like fraction of an inch that 4/25 is? I don't know how to do that in my head. If it's 4/28, it'd be 1/7. 4/24 would be 1/6, and none of that, like, how does that translate over into like dowel rod or rods, metal rods for mandrels, right? So Neil, does that make sense? What is the closest mandrel to 4/25 of an inch? Yeah, it does? Okay. That is how you would do that. If you know the aspect ratio of the ring size for a cube, which we do, it's 2.6, 2.55 to like 2.75. I'm working with 2.6 right now. It's making a very nice jelly cube. And we know the wire diameter. Actually, let me double check something. I may have given you bad information. Not that. This. No, you said American. 40 gauge American. Wait, did we do our math wrong? No, it should still be x over 0.064 equals 2.65. That's clear 2.65 times 0.064. Yeah, 0.169 in inches. It's the same number. Okay. We didn't do it wrong. Our conversion worked in millimeters and inches. So, there we go. You're just wrapping your wire around a pencil to make the rings. There you go. Yeah, I got a couple of cubes that I doubled up the wire and it worked. Half hard wire versus full hard, and aluminum ages over time, so if you buy a spool and keep it for a year before spooling it, it will have a different spring back than new. There we go. Thank you, John. Yeah, wrapping around a pencil. My first mandrel was a piece of iron rebar. And I used some really crappy snips to cut the rings, and they were like 14 gauge 14 gauge lineman's wire that my grandpa had a giant spool of in his backyard. Who knows how long he'd had that. He'd been a lineman like 30 years prior to me being born. So if you have power in the Pacific Northwest anytime in the last 60, 70 years, thank my grandpa. Wood compresses over time and changes AR every coil. Yeah, a pencil isn't a good mandrel, but, you know, in a pinch, you use what you have. Okay, I'm going to make this cube offset. Because I want one side to be bronze and one side to be stainless, and then these two sides will be mostly bronze. Like this will be mostly bronze when I'm done instead of mostly stainless. And then these two sides will be the opposite, mostly stainless. Right? Making mail yourself right now. Keep the awesome work, spreading the art. Thank you, Rusty Shackelford. How you doing? What are you making, if you don't mind me asking? Where was I working? You stripped copper wire, coiled it onto a thinner drumstick from a band a friend made, and made a shirt before you knew half what you do on metallurgy. Yeah, I believe it. Okay. I was making your 5th suit of armor. Like, there's professional terms for armor, and I don't know what any of them are. But like chausses, that's a word, right? That they use when making armor. For pants. Are you making pants too? That's awesome. I have made a couple of shirts, and I wouldn't qualify them as armor per se. They are heavy. And that's about all that can be said about them. They're kind of cool. I made some stands for them to get them up off the floor. They hang out in my basement. I want to redo one of them. I'd like to redo all three, but I only have rings to redo one. And the next time I go to do a shirt, I'm going to spend a lot more time on it. 5/8 OD solid washers, Hauberk, nice. Hauberk, that's the word I was looking for. All right. Oh, what happened to the comments? 5/8 of an inch solid washers. Cool, cool. I haven't used washers to make anything. Come on. Oh, for those of you wondering, no one asked and no one's curious, but for those of you wondering, you see these black pliers I have in my hands where the handles are all black? I've got, this was just announced on all the chainmail forums earlier today. I got to beta test these. And these are the new Xurons, Xuron, with padded handles. And I gotta say, they're pretty nice. I like them a lot. Mostly suitable for all applications you use the regular blue-handled ones for. Although, I've got, both of these are 483s. And that's a blunt-nosed plier. Right? Got it. Short nose, blunt nose plier, short blunt nose plier. Right? And then these are a chisel nose, which I don't know how well that can be seen on camera. But it's angled and it's very sharp. Right? So you want to be careful with that. But these, the chisel nose, get into some very narrow areas. I find them to be very useful. So it's out today that we can, I'm assuming, talk about them. They've been announced. You keep gaining weight, chainmail keeps not stretching. Yeah, 100%. I understand that comment all too well. And it's not so much like I can still get my shirts on. It's just a reality that there's a good chance they might not come back off. Like, I can squeeze into them, but you're going to need a bucket of Crisco to get me out of them. Tried the beta test, ended up making your own wooden grips. You should share pics of sometime. Yeah, for sure. They should give you a false sense of strength with heavier handles. And be aware of what they can and can't do. Your wooden ones or the foam pads? I don't think these give me a false sense of strength or anything. But if you're talking about the wooden ones, that makes sense. These are cool. Here's a fun fact, right? Both of these are very comfortable in my left hand, right? And they're a bit like large in my right hand. And I was like, what is going on here? Okay. One, the pliers fit comfortably in my left, and they're a little, like, almost too big in my right. And actually, to give you a perfect example, I can grab a ring, right? With these, it's easy. Okay, grab a ring. With these, it's a little trickier, but I can still do it, right? And then with these, trying to grab a ring, I managed to do it there, but it's actually quite hard to pick up a ring with my right hand. So I was like, what happened, right? And I was holding my hands together and I was looking at them. My left hand is a legitimate 1/4 inch larger than my right. My fingertips are a good 1/4 inch longer on each finger. And I'm holding them together. My left hand is bigger than my right hand slightly. I think that's probably a normal thing. I have one ear higher than the other two. Also something which I'm pretty sure is normal. Watch a comment with the second part of the description. Ah, okay. Yeah. Using a pair of Armor's pliers from TRL that are both slightly broken. Hey, use what works. But also, these Zurons are now available. I think for pre-order. I don't think they're out yet. It'll be like a month until they're ready to go. You got the Beadsmith grips that added a lot of bulk, but forgot they were not your snap-on and tried to open a 12 gauge and snapped them. Excuse me. Nice. Yep. Using the right pliers for the right application is paramount. And so the thing I like about Zurons, right? If you break them, they'll replace them. I've seen that several times. Your handle grips start slipping or break or start getting chewed up or whatever, they'll send you new ones. Kurt Fargo from Micro Tools specifically works on designing pliers for chainmail because he makes chainmail himself. And fun fact about him, he just went to Africa and had some cool pictures. Other than that, I don't really know the guy, but I know that his focus is on chainmail, so it's nice to have a plier manufacturer that is catering to such a niche group. So let's go an old TRL resistance welder to make fully welded solid actual armor suit. There you go. I've got a little sparkle welder for small stuff. I need to practice with that more. I actually have some welding that I have to do for... Yeah, stop that. Some jewelry pieces. I have not had the time to sit down and work through getting them done. It'll only take a day. I've got 3 things that will only take a day. Right? My giant Finnegan's Wake inlay, the loops that go across the top, I want to add one more row to the outside. But to do that, I've got to add a layer of gold to the rows. There's gold, black, and silver in the loops. So I'm going to add the gold right from here. Okay. And then take the silver out and add it to the outside. And that'll take me a day, right? I've got a tub of rings here. They are the black and stainless that I picked up from the Ring Lord for my last project. And I need to finish making sure that they are all in round. And then I need to weld 20, what do you call them? Clasps for bracelets. So they are warranted for mail damage. I have 5 broken sets over the last few years and just replaced them. No, yeah, contact Zuron with pictures. I don't know what they're warranted for, but I've seen several people get replacement pliers and replacement parts, and you have some new scars from figuring out amperage necessary to weld 16 gauge steel rings. Ooh, that sounds spicy. Right on. But yeah, so I've got at least 3 days worth of work to do, and with the new job coming up, I'm hoping to get all of that done, cleaned up, and out of the way, right? And then on the app, the next time I am down here and not distracted by a bunch of stuff, I'm going to redo the icons, and then make everything nice and smooth and get the apps relisted on Google and Apple. And then, what else? Oh, and then there's like a bunch of stuff I have to do on the back end of my store. Right. Like, it works and everything on there is fine. But there are some designs and some products I want to get out before Christmas. So, Mike, how you doing? 1 little, 2 little, 3 little cubes, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little cubes. Yes, there are too many cubes in my world right now. I've got 1, 2, 3 that I'm working on. And I like cubes. They're fun. But soon it's going to be time to make something else, and I'm going to be ever so grateful for not having to make a cube. I want to get this done before I start my new job. That way it's not hanging over my head. I don't know. I don't know what the next project is going to be, but I have plenty of stuff to do. Most of the family's sick. Oh no. Sure you're next, given you had chemo 2 weeks ago, yeah? I can imagine. Do you typically get sick after you have chemo, or are you mostly okay most of the time? Yeah, I got a new job coming. As long as I can pass the physical, the substance screening, and the background check, which all of that should not be an issue. Never had an issue passing them before. I don't see why it would make a difference now. You usually do pretty good. That's good to hear. Amy, how are you tonight? All right. Does anybody have, if you ever have time, which I'm sure you don't, you should look up or experience VenoTalk? What is VenoTalk? Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I should start second week of October. And it'll give me an opportunity to pay off some debt, buy some tools, the tools that I was hoping to have by the end of this year, which is not going to happen with me doing what I'm doing. But to be someone who makes chainmail, right, and to be like a fully functional chainmail shop, I want to be able to produce welded pieces, riveted pieces, rings that are butted, pieces that are made with butted rings, like I'm doing right now. I want to be able to anodize, all that fun stuff. Oh, you know what happened today? I got an email from my son's teacher. Apparently he's been quite the character in class, and I'm sure she's being driven up a wall. Here's the thing, though. My son shares a name with another kid in school, and I'm not 100% certain that the teacher has them, like, knows which one is which is kind of funny. And so there's a non-zero chance that the teacher mixed up who she was writing and got the parents mixed up, got the wrong student, which I think is hilarious. But some of the stuff that she described in the email was stuff my son does at home. Had fun with her daughter. She's been acting out in school, so she needs more of your attention. Yeah, my kid doing the exact same thing. I figure it is September. First month of school just got done with. And, a little reminding, a little parenting at home goes a long way in school, so. Crazy Harvest Festival, Psychedelic, Ren Fair in Colorado during Equinox. Vinotalk.org. Is that your thing? Let's see here. The last time I was in Colorado, I rode my motorcycle from Wisconsin to Colorado, which is like 800 miles. I'd have to double check the Google Maps, but I got my Road King all packed up and took off in my chainmail motorcycle vest, and I rode to Colorado. And me and a buddy from the Army and several of his friends that he'd met throughout his 20 years in the service, they all had a week together hanging out and visiting tourist spots and hiking and seeing, what did we see? We saw a huge organism. It was a grove of aspens that was like several miles, like several square miles. Oh. And these aspens, like a grove of aspens is like all one tree, right? So we hiked up to a lookout and saw this aspen grove. One of your things, you get to wear scale mail and be Evil Knight, perfect for road trip fall colors. There you go. Pando, Aspen Grove. They're a clonal colony. Is that what it's called? So we saw that, and then we saw some lakes and some fly fishermen, and basically stayed in some cabins with hot water and heating and air conditioning, which was very nice, out in the woods. It was fun. It was a good week. And there was a lot of adult beverages involved. Where in Colorado did I go to? I went to outside of Colorado Springs. Where is Fort Carson? Because I think it was Fort Carson. Fort Carson was right near there, I think. It was fun. It's a good. Oh, what am I doing? Getting my colors mixed up. This is why I only use one color in 99% of my stuff. Ah. So yeah, I went. The secret military base in the mountains. Wherever that is, you could see the secret military base in the mountains from the back of my friend's porch. From my friend's porch. South Colorado Springs, about 20 minutes from you. You're at the north end of town. Oh, right on. Yeah. And I haven't taken any big motorcycle trips. I didn't even get the bike out this summer. So I'm kind of itching to ride, but riding season is over. So now I have a new goal of getting the rest of the chainmail and leather done on the Road King. Colorado Carson, Fort Carson, about 5 hours ECU. Right on. So NORAD isn't really that secret, exactly. My friend said he'd been up there and it's just like a big hole in the mountain and there's nothing there. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true. That's just what he said. And he was higher ranking than me, and he was in the military at the time that he did it, so but yeah, it was a good trip. I need to go on another one. What I would like to do Now that I've had at least one long road trip, like, I'm okay with doing more. Fort Carson's damn near the projects, yeah. So I would like to take a road trip out to Sturgis, just to say that I went one time, which is like 700 miles for me, or 600, something like that. I can get there in a day, but my aunt's house is on the way, so I can just stop at her house, stay the night, and then move on the next day. She would love to see me. Your biggest claim to fame is being the town that Bud Light painted blue for whatever advertising. Nice. And then I would also like to ride out to Idaho, where I'm from, to see my family as just a kind of spontaneous trip. So, that'd be fun. One day, if I went to Idaho now, I'd still drive, but I'd take my truck, just because if I go, I want to take my kid with me so he can meet his grandpa, or see his grandpa and his great-grandmother and his aunt and cousin that live out there. So I wouldn't make him go on a motorcycle ride with me. Maybe one day, but not, he's a little young. He's, not an adult yet, so. Amanda, how you doing? So, yeah, Sturgis, and then ride home to Idaho. There's a lot of, like, windy roads in Idaho that I would love to go ride. But that would have to be, like, a dedicated trip where I'm out there for, like, a month. If I'm going out there to ride a motorcycle. So, I don't know. Yeah. I love you too, kiddo. What am I am working on another cube. This one is this one was commissioned, and I don't have enough supplies, and I'm scrambling to get it done before I go back to work. So this will be the next project I work on until I run out of rings or it's finished. But it's a bronze and stainless steel cube. So there's the bronze, there's the stainless steel, and then all the sides are a mix. Some more stainless steel dominant, some more bronze dominant, but that is what we're working on. We're going for a 10 by 10. Doing good, that was cute, yeah. So, what am I working on next? What did I just work on? Was it this side? It wasn't that side. It was this. No. I did this first. Okay. So, I'm going to make this an offset cube, I think is what they're called. 4, 5. So, we're now at 5 by 5. Because I want the color to shine. I think that's the side I did. Now I need to do this side. Or no. I don't think it matters which side I do. Okay. Definitely, it was this side, or this side. I think it was this side. I'm going to do this side now. Or not. I'm lost, guys. No, okay. Doesn't matter. Just add rings. And we'll figure it out as time goes on. All right. You love hiking hills. People talk about how cool that is for a bike ride. Yeah. So when I was younger, I used to mountain bike all throughout the foothills in Idaho, right, around Boise. And a lot of people go up and hike them. The immediate foothills surrounding Boise is kind of scrub grass, and it's not what I would call pretty. But the farther you get up into the mountains, once you get above the tree line and you start getting back to like the second set of mountains, it's like foothills, mountains, then the next set of mountains, then it's all mountains and trees and all kinds of cool stuff. So we usually didn't ride up because you gotta, I think it's like 3,000 feet, 2,500 feet that you'd have to pedal uphill to get back there. So it's a several hour hike or, several hour bike ride. What's a girl got to do to get one that size? I would love to be making multiples of these. However, my supplier is out of rings right now, and I don't know when they're going to resupply. So that's a fun thing I'm dealing with. You've never been able to get the weave started. Okay. So do you know Wayward and Whimsical? All one word, Wayward and Whimsical, over on TikTok. Right? She has the best video tutorial I've seen, and the only one I know of. So if you're looking to make a cube, provided you've got the right ring sizes. Oh, you're talking about motorcycles on the right? Well, yeah. So I rode on a mountain bike up those foothills. There's a lot of windy roads just all throughout Idaho, right? Like once you leave the southeastern portion of Idaho and you head up into the Panhandle, right? It's like all winding roads because that's the only way to get around. And I would love to go up there and ride around. You'll be right back. Yeah, go check it out. Wayward and Whimsical, all one word, has a video tutorial on how to make cubes, how she does them. And like a lot of people ask me to make a tutorial, and it's like, go there because it's already been masterfully done by someone who's much better at chainmail than I am. Ah, don't do that. Okay. I am actually terrified of these pliers slipping. Because as I was saying in the earlier part of the stream, these are the new Zurons that I got to beta test, right? And these ones are chisel nose, right? Which means that the top is very pointy. And I have seen the damage this can cause on other people. I've seen these pliers slip in other people's hands, and I'm genuinely terrified of that happening. Ooh is right. So I was selected to beta test with them, and they're cool. I like them a lot. They are much, I don't know if they're much preferable over the Zurons with your standard blue handles, right? These are great for a lot of things. But the foam padding, I like the foam padding personally, right? However, I've had these for 2 months, and I couldn't talk about them. That was the worst thing. You pre-ordered some? Yeah, I'm going to order a whole bunch after I start working again. And it's one of those, like, gotta have them all. has a burr on the tip as well. The chisel nose, yeah, they're spiky. Hang on. I do not want to have these slip at all. Yeah, gotta catch them all. I want a pair of every single one of those pliers. What am I doing? Getting my colors mixed up again. So it was very difficult not to talk about these. I only had them in my hands or on camera one time during the month or two that I had them. So I kept them, and that was actually just like last week. Right during the beginning of the show. They were still on my work mat. So, I didn't give up the secret. But there were so many times during the stream where I wanted to just be like, look what I have. These are so cool. Check them out. Get a pair of your own. You know what I mean? That's awesome for me. Yes, it was. You're thinking the same thing? Order 2 to start? Yeah. I will definitely have... I don't necessarily need the cut... Oh, yeah. Speaking of cutters. I've used them a couple times. Right? But I don't find myself cutting things nearly as much as I did using the pliers, right? Mostly I'm opening and closing rings. Right? So that's... that one. And then here's the other one. For anyone over here. This is kind of these snub nose clippers. And some smoother, longer so they're cool, they're useful. I just, I don't clip a lot of stuff, so I used them as best I could. You need the armrests. I like the armrests, but I had to make some modifications. These are like as seen on TV armrests with like I made the leather that was here because the faux leather that it comes with peeled off, and then I had to add a leather piece down here to get the hold in place. But I like them. They slide around a little bit and that kind of gets annoying. But I don't have a 3/4 inch drill bit to drill through my desk to give them like a final resting place kind of thing. But they are nice. So it's like one of those. Okay. When you are someone who likes to create stuff, and I've noticed this in more than just me, right? You have a tendency to like try and customize everything. And I do that all the time. So it just needs a little bit of leather here, a little bit of chainmail there. Like I have a garage stick. And my garage stick is it just happens to be in the garage. And if it's used in self-defense, then it was just there. Yeah, modifications. Yeah, exactly. So this is my garage stick, and you might be like, Sean, why isn't that in the garage? It's because I've got a modification for it. Right? I'm adding this little piece to the end of the garage stick here, just to modify it, just for fun, and maybe we'll smash some watermelons with it, right? And I've got to sand this down a little bit and then try and add some threads. So it's like, what's don't have. It's gonna look like this. What am I drawing? This looks bad. Okay, so I have to make the end of the garage stick. It's a shovel handle, right? Look like that's the threads, so that it can slide up into the pipe. And I will put it back in the garage. And like I said, maybe smash some watermelons with it. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm going to fill the 6-way pipe fitting with some stainless, probably like some stainless tumbling media or some stainless ball bearings or something, just to add some weight and take up space. Let's use some thread lock on everything or some Loctite and whatnot. And then this cap right here will go in each of these inputs. So we'll have these all around. It'll be cool. It'll be a bit, I gotta get a, what do you call it? Tap and die set. Just gotta run up to Harbor Freight and get one, but I'm not buying anything before I start work. So getting the urge to go and buy a bunch of stuff and just put it on my credit card and then pay it off once I start working again is really tempting. But I'm trying very hard not to do that. There's probably like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 worth of stuff, that parts for the motorcycle, tools for down here in the basement. So, but soon I will have an additional income on top of my disability pay, so it'll be fine. Something just chimed. With the new job, I have to use my phone for work, which means that don't do it. Yeah, exactly. It's not worth it. I've lived without this stuff this long. I don't need to put anything on my credit card, but I really want to. But something just chimed on my computer. Mech, how you doing? I don't know what it is. It's probably a Facebook message, right? And my phone has not been off of silent in years. My phone does not make noise. But for this job, they give you a stipend. Instead of giving you a company phone, they give you a stipend. And so I have to turn my phone back on. So I had to go in and figure out how to make it so that none of the apps make noise. The typing doesn't make noise. Right? And the only thing that comes on is the ringtone whenever someone calls, and not notifications from the 5,000 apps I use. So I think I've got most of them. Mech, these are the new Zurons. They come with foam padding already on the plier. I'm using a pair of 483 blunt nose. And what number is this? Pair of 487 chisel nose pliers. I'm genuinely terrified of these. Yeah, if you go to the Chainmail page over on Facebook or Chainmail Jewelry and More, the Micro Tools, I don't know if he's the owner or representative or what his relationship is to Micro Tools. He posted that these were available for pre-order and that they'd be like out in a month or so. Should I get a new phone, so you're figuring out all the fun stuff? Yeah. I've delayed getting a new phone for a while now. I don't think I bought a new phone. Well, I have a Galaxy S10, right? And what are they out with now? Galaxy S24 or something? I don't know how they number the phone generations in Samsung, but I'm pretty far behind so far. So I'm due for a phone upgrade. I just don't want to. S24, yeah. 483s, you think that's what you have currently? 5 generations? That's not terrible, being 5 generations behind. But a lot of my apps have stopped working on Wi-Fi and they will only work on 4G. And so I constantly find myself turning my Wi-Fi off to open up certain apps to get them to update. And I think it's just, the phone is just old and they're not updating stuff for 4G or Wi-Fi or whatever. I don't know what the problem is, actually. How do you like the camera on the S24? Because I am not a photographer, I use my cell phone for all my pictures, and while my S10 does a good job of taking pictures and people can tell what is in the photos, it's still far behind what is currently out on the market. At this point, actually, we've got the puzzle piece of death here. Better answer that real quick. You just got it last week, you're still trying it out? Right on. So yeah, I need to figure out... Actually, I need to look up when the next phone is being released and probably just go and get the newest phone whenever it comes out. Because the S24 has been out for a few years now, right? Just go with the 23 Ultra. It's cheaper and basically the same camera as the 24. You'll keep me posted? Right on. Thank you. The Chainmail group is called Chainmail. CHAIN space MAILLE. Or Chainmail Jewelry and More. Which, if you're watching and you like chainmail and you want to get into it, definitely go join those two groups. A lot of stuff gets cross-posted between those two, but I think between the two groups, they complement each other more than they inhibit. Not that color. So, this cube, I love starting out new cubes because it feels like they go so fast. right? To get this up to 15 rows was like an hour and a half for each layer. And now I've got to build it up from here. So it's going to be, it's double, a little more than double from here to here to here. And so I don't want to know how long it's going to take me per layer to build this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So I've got 8 more rows to build this up. Ugh. I'm going to try and get this done. We'll see. I don't think I have enough rings for it. And this finished before I start my new job. Is that the link? Amy, is that the link to the chainmail group? I can copy and paste it. Control C. Let's try that. So those are my goals before my theoretical start date is October 10th, provided everything goes well, which it should. There's not any reason why it shouldn't. Well, the problem with not working for 2.5 years is that I really don't have any references. Congrats on the job. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. My nursing skills were getting rusty, and so it sounds like I'll be doing a lot of hands-on practical skills, which I've done a lot of over the years, like PICC line dressing changes, wound vacs, trachs, catheters, all kinds of fun stuff. So it's a link to your shared micro tools. Okay. Mac, that's a link to the shared micro tools. I suppose I should have checked the link before I posted it, but that's fine. Yeah, there you go. That's them. So I am an RN. I have my BSN, and I will be doing home health visits essentially for people that need nursing care but don't necessarily need to be hospitalized. And my job is to keep them out of the hospital. It's a fun job. I've done it before. And as long as it allows me to pick my son up and drop him off from school, then I'm good. You don't see a link where I posted a link. See here, 1, 2, 3 comments above the I don't see a link comment, rather. That is so fantastic. Yeah, I think so. It's actually, it's very, it's an autonomous position. It is very much, you are the master of your own fate kind of deal. And provided you don't walk into an emergency and everything goes smoothly, it's a really good position, right? There are times when I've had to call 911 a few times for some patients. One had a stroke right in front of me, and another lady was halfway out of her chair on the floor, in a various stages of decline, shall we say. And she'd been going downhill for quite some time. She was elderly, and she should not have been living alone. She should have been in a facility a long time before that, but the family did not want her in a facility. And so she had me visiting a few times a week and a caregiver that would stop by for a few hours, like 3 times a week. And the rest of the time, she was on her own. And usually she would just sit in a chair and whatnot, but I walked in, she was halfway out of her chair, having bad issues going on. So had to call 911 and get her to the hospital. And that, that takes some time. But other than that, most of it, you go to the patient's home, you're there for 30, 45 minutes, you do what needs to be done, and you're off to the next patient. So, it's a good gig. I think it's slept on, honestly. So, if you for nurses in the medical field, like, a lot of people just think that the hospital is where it's at. And the hospital is a good place to learn a bunch of skills, right? And it's a good place to specialize. I don't have any intent, like, when I mean specialize, I mean, like, you can get certifications as an ICU nurse, as a wound nurse, as a burn unit nurse, as a whole, a gastroenterology nurse, right? You can specialize in all of those things. I have no intention of specializing. I'm a generalist. I started on hematology, oncology, and med-surg, and that is where my strength lies. It sounds rewarding. It is. Healthcare can be rewarding. I was saying this the other night, not last night because I was changing a faucet out last night. But the night before when I streamed, I was saying I can't recommend to anyone that they go and join the medical field. However, right, nursing has provided me with many opportunities to do things that I never otherwise would have done. And, having a job during hard times, never been a problem, really. If I don't like some place that I work, it's pretty easy to move on to the next position. There is a lot of downsides to healthcare in general, and that's all across healthcare, so you can't avoid it. But, once you learn what to watch out for, and, like, I'll give you an example. Long-term care facilities with rehab units that have really large sign-on bonuses. If you're a young nurse and you see a job that has a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 sign-on bonus, right? Which means once you get hired there, you get a bonus. The last place I had got a bonus at was once every 3 months. I got a portion of, I think it was the $5,000 bonus, right? So every 3 months I got $1,250 or whatever it was, right? So, like, if you're a new nurse and you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, I could use the money, just understand that they're offering a bonus because they need people and they probably don't have a lot of staff and they're, understaffed and overwhelmed, and so you learn what to watch out for. How big is your area? Your friend put a ton of miles on her car. Oh, so that's a wonderful thing about this job is the car and the gas and the maintenance on the vehicle and the insurance is all paid for by the company. I would not otherwise be taking the job, right? So, I get in the company car, I drop my kid off at school, I go visit all these patients' houses that are 45 minutes to an hour away. I visit 6 to 7 of them, I turn around, come home, pick my kid up, go home. Do my charting, call it a day. And they won't all be an hour away, just, I think where they said I'd be working is about 45 minutes to an hour. And I've worked out in that area before, and sweet, drove on, get your jam on with some great tunes. Yeah, you can, listen to whatever radio station you want. There's a couple areas that don't have signal out there, so you can't always use your phone. Like, you could use it to call emergency services, but that's about all you get, so yeah, it'll be good. it'll work out, and then I'll work there for a couple years, and then I will retire early again, and so I want to get into a position like this affords me the opportunity to do things like pay off my house if I work there long enough, right? It's like I was looking at their benefits, and I've got health insurance through the VA because I'm a 100% disabled vet, right? My kid gets health insurance because I'm a 100% disabled vet through the VA, right? These are a lot of benefits that, you know, a lot of things that I've been afforded because of my active duty time that are just, you know, crazily beneficial. Gonna get some grub. Always enjoy your streams, brother. Have a good night. Hey, good luck on your inlay. Hope it turns out the way you want. I can't wait to see it. You have a good night too. And enjoy your food. Anyway, what was I? Okay, so I was looking at benefits for the new job, and there's not much. Like, I don't need insurance. I might grab a life insurance policy for my kid. Just, you know, it's morbid to think about, but I was in the Army. I was in the Army for 7 years. I did 2 tours to Iraq. I got out in 2009 and then went to college, and I got married in 2007 and then went to college, got married, went on deployment, got back, got out of the military, went to college, graduated with my BSN, and then moved up to Wisconsin in 2015, and I think I did that right. All those are opposite. Yes. Cool. Cool. All right. I was a 68 whiskey Mike 6. So for those of you who don't know what that is, a 68 whiskey is a combat medic, and I had a Mike 6 identifier to get my nursing license. So I went to basic training, and then I went to, where'd I go after that? My first school, which was combat medic school, where you get your EMT license, your CPR, and your EMT. And then after that, I went to school for a year out in Washington, D.C. at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. And I got my nursing license out there. Then after a year of that, I got sent to Fort Polk, Louisiana. So I went to Fort Benning for 2 weeks, got sick. Everybody had the crud. I was there. They didn't send us to basic training because they were sending guys that would become infantry down in front of us. So we all got shipped off to Lawton, Oklahoma at Fort Sill. And so I was in reception for 2 weeks. Then I was in basic training for 11 weeks. So that was fun. Good time. I was super sick the whole time. And then my next duty station for school was San Antonio, then Walter Reed Army Medical Center, then Fort Polk, Louisiana. And that was my first 4 years, and I was very tired of the Army sending me to really crappy places. I don't know how it is now. I don't think it's improved, but Lawton is, the town exists because there's a military base there, right? And I was in basic training. I couldn't go anywhere anyway. Fort Polk, the town exists because there's a military base there, right? The locals aren't too fond of soldiers. There was a Walmart and a movie theater. So, not a lot there. DC is a dumpster fire. A lot of homeless, a A lot of people with problems. A lot of rundown areas. And Walter Reed is right smack dab in the middle of it. The mall area is nice in DC. But that's about it, right? Which is, and so it's like the mall area of DC where the Capitol is, a bunch of garbage surrounding it. And then once you get past that, that's where like the nice, really ritzy areas of the country are. And by the country, I mean the United States. I don't mean like out in the country. Like the counties surrounding DC are super wealthy, right? But in between them and the Capitol is this just trash zone that I lived in for a year. Of course, the mall is nice. The mall area is nice. Given an opportunity, I would go back and take my kid to the mall area. So he's of an age where that would be good for him. It's like I never went to, or no, I'm sorry. I need to rephrase that. I never appreciated any of the areas that my father dragged us 6 kids to. Me, my sisters, my brother, and my 2 stepsisters. Until I was older. And now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I've been to Arches National Park. I've been to Bryce. I've been to Zion. All over Moab, Utah. I've been to Yellowstone. I've been to Disneyland. I've been to Carlsbad Caverns. I've been to the Petrified Forest. Like all of these national parks west of the Mississippi. My dad dragged us to nearly every one. There's very few I haven't been to, right? I've been to Mesa Verde National Park, which is really cool. They've got these cliffside dwellings that you can hike down to and see where Native Americans lived on the side of a cliff. Yeah, you never appreciate those things as a kid? Yeah, no. I certainly didn't. And I was an annoying kid, so I feel bad for my dad having to drag us out there. But, you know, now that I'm older, I'm much more appreciative of the fact that I've been to all these places and I have all these memories. And my son is of an age where I would like to drag him out. The first thing I want to do, and I was trying to do this last year and I never had time. Not last year. I was trying to do this in August. There's a meteor shower that comes around like twice a year in August and in January. Oh, excuse me. And there's a few viewing areas in Wisconsin. I think the closest one is like 2 hours away or something. I'm sure it doesn't take that much to get away from the light pollution to go out and view the night sky. But I want to take him out and do that so you can see a meteor shower and see the Milky Way. But now that school started, it's like, all right, I lost my chance to do that this summer, but maybe later on. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So, and then in Wisconsin, we just went to the Dells last year. It's a big nature preserve. It's a protected area. I don't know what to call it. It might be a national park. I don't remember. Father took you to Yellowstone as well. Recently found the SD card and was just in awe. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, go to Yellowstone, see Old Faithful, which I guess is going to become Old Faithless, because I guess it's a geyser that goes off every hour, like on the dot, and it's slowly been, you know, an hour and a minute, an hour and 2 minutes, an hour and 5 minutes. Like the time in between the geyser spouting is getting longer. So, amusement area. Yeah, the Dells is an amusement area. And right by the Dells is 10 hotel/water park areas. So you can go there and stay in a hotel, and inside the hotel there's like 10 different water parks, and they've all got little touristy trap things you can go do, and a casino. So it's fun to do if you're in Wisconsin. Go and do it once. Ride the boats. There's a boat ride on the duck boats or whatever they're called. So we did that, like, not this past summer, but the summer before, I want to say. So I want to do some more of that with them. I think that'll be fun. And actually, you know, by the time summer rolls around next year, I'll have some PTO built up, and maybe we can take some time off and go do stuff. That's going to be the thing, you know, the most difficult aspect of going back to work, right? I've been a stay-at-home dad for the last 2.5 years, and I do, you know, whatever I want, whenever I want, right? Which is mostly me sitting down here in the basement, opening and closing rings, and taking care of the house, you know, mowing the lawn, groceries, vacuum, sweeping, mopping, all that fun stuff, right? So I haven't had to take any days off or negotiate time off with an employer or try to take holidays off for quite a while now. I'm like, oh, I got to go back to that. I'm going to have to, like, work Thanksgiving or something. I'm sure I'll have it figured out. What we did at my last position was we scheduled around the holidays. So if anything happened and we got a phone call, we would go out. But otherwise, you know, we'd get everyone taken care of before we had to go see them, kind of deal. So, but yeah, by summertime next year, I'll have some time off, and hopefully I can grab the kiddo, and I want him to spend time with family. You know, the family that he doesn't live by out in Idaho. So, but there's plenty of stuff to see in Idaho, right? My brother wants me to fly out to Japan to go see him. He is he's in the Navy. He's been stationed out in Japan. He's on his 3rd tour out there. He got married to a Japanese girl. My issue is that when I travel, I drive everywhere, right? Potatoes and corn in Idaho, yeah. And so there's no way for me to drive to Japan. Okay? So that means I would have to get on a plane. And I haven't gotten on a plane because I can go on a flight. I just hate the whole flight experience from beginning to end. From looking up tickets until I get off the plane to my destination, right? I think that the airline industry is a disgusting industry that has basically trashed their own reputation through bad customer service practices, and the TSA does not help. I think they're a disgusting organization that needs to be done away with because they don't do any damn good. They're a bunch of thieves and criminals, and don't let me get too far off into a tangent on what I think of. My point is, I don't like going on planes. Not because, like, I like flying. Flying's cool. It doesn't make me sick or anything. It's just the whole experience. So, I don't know how to get to Japan without flying, and my brother wants me to come out. It's probably his last time he's going to be stationed out there. And onions in Idaho, yeah. Not to mention cutting corners. In the airline industry, yeah. And that's, you know, I mean, let's all just be honest with ourselves. It's a little sketchy to fly right now, especially across an ocean. So, I'd love to go. It'd be fun. Don't know if I'm going to. I would love to see my brother. I would love so that my brother didn't have to travel halfway across the world to come home. Right? And that, you know, we can all just go out and see him and everything would work out just perfect. But you might get to use the inflatable slide. Your brother wants you to visit him in Hungary? Yeah. I'd go to Hungary, no problem. You know, except that I have to use a plane to get there. And I've been on plenty of planes. I have crossed oceans in planes. I've done the whole, you know, fly for 24 hours kind of deal to get from Iraq to back to Fort Polk and vice versa. You know, to get from the United States to Iraq and back multiple times. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore, ever. So, I don't know. I'd love to go see him. I'd love to take my son out there so he could be like, yeah, I went to Japan. That'd be cool. But also, like, just no. I'm trying to talk myself into it because I love my brother. You know, and it costs him money to come home and see family. And, you know, it's only fair that we spend our money and go out and see him. I'm like off camera on the main camera here. So, I don't know. I'll figure it out. So he, like, right now he's in Okinawa, my brother. And I am going to wait until he's back on mainland Japan per his recommendation. And then we'll see where life is at and if we go out there. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I just, you know, I want to drag my kid around and hear him complain the way I was dragged around as a kid. It's because I appreciated it so much more as an adult. You know what I mean? I think it's good for kids. Builds character. That's a good recommendation. To wait until he's back on mainland Japan. I always wanted to go to... There's an ice festival in northern Japan during the winter. And I read an article about it as a kid. And it was my first exposure to, like, ice sculptures. I thought it was the coolest thing. And I thought that it was the only place in the world where they did it. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. Because about 3 hours north of where I grew up is McCall, Idaho. And they have an ice sculpture festival every year. And I've never once been up there for it. And I lived there for 20 years. So, yeah, I'd love to go see the ice sculpture festival in Japan. Probably won't go there during that time of year. Okinawa's okay, but not that great. That's what my brother says. Says it's very humid. The ice castle, yeah. And I read some National Geographic article about the ice festival in northern Japan, and I've never forgotten it for some reason. I don't know. I don't know anything else about Japan, except like katanas and samurai. World War II stuff. Nintendo. It's like... But anyway. We do have something here in Wisconsin called the House on the Rock. The House in the Rock. And my understanding is that it's basically like some madman's fever dream that he brought to life. And it just gets weirder and weirder the farther back you go. And And I don't know, like, I don't know how well my kid would appreciate that. He's like me, very skittish, does not like scary stuff, especially when I was younger, right? How long have I been using these pliers? About 2 months I've had them. I got them to beta test, and then it's been 2 months of me not telling anyone about it because I wasn't allowed to. And now that they're out, it's like, here we go. Anime. Japan's known for anime. I don't watch anime, so... Oh, well, let me finish this. Okay, so when I was young, probably about 7 years old, my friend who had cable, he had cable in his room, so he would stay up and watch cable, right? And whatever came on, he would watch. He liked to watch Tales from the Crypt, okay? And he watched scarier movies than what I would watch. I liked action thrillers around that age. Predator was cool. Terminator was cool. But one night, I was staying the night at his house. They lived 100 feet uphill from us, okay? It's more than 100 feet, but, you know. Are they as fantastic as you think they are? It's, depending on your hand size, they work pretty good. Right? So, I think they're pretty great. They make it a little difficult to pick up rings with my right hand. And I found out that's because my right hand is about a 1/4 inch shorter than my left hand. But picking up rings with my left hand is just fine. I definitely recommend grabbing a pair and adding them to your tool chest. Could go to the Cave of the Mound. There we go. That's a good thing I should drag my son to. For sure. What else? Where was I? So I was spending the night at his house. Back in the day when, you know, kids still spent the night at each other's houses. And we watched Ghostbusters 2. And I was about 6, 7, 8 at the time. Ghostbusters 2 scared me so badly, I had to go home. Okay? Just to give you an idea of, like, I don't like scary things. I can watch it now. It's fine. Right? I get that it's a comedy. But when I was a kid, no, I did not understand that at all. I didn't get the jokes. I was too young for them. And I don't know, the guy coming in through the faucet was creepy. The guy in the painting. And my son is kind of like that. Right? He does not like scary things or scary sounds. You hate the Crypt Keeper, he still scares you? Yeah. So I don't know if the House on the Rock would be a good experience for him until he's older. I definitely want to go see it at some point. But, yeah, you know, I'll figure out stuff to do. Come on. The issue is time and money, right? It's like, whereas before I had all the time in the world, I could go do whatever I wanted, and now that I'm getting deployed, and now that I'm getting employed, not deployed, right? I have money but no time. So Milwaukee Zoo is amazing. We've been there. Been in the Milwaukee Zoo. Last year for my birthday, we went to go watch a Cubs game down in Chicago at Wrigley Field. What else have we done? The Dells. I don't know. He's pretty good about. There's an action adventure place nearby, or action territory or something. They've got go-karts and laser tag and video games, and he's pretty content to go there for any special occasion. And so, but, you know, I want to get him in the truck and drive him down to the Grand Canyon. That's a good place to go. Just the immensity of that place is still with me today as I am now an adult. I'm just going to add my second layer here. I think I'm going the right direction. So, a lot of stuff to do. I'll figure it out. What I need to do is, if I make it a priority, then I will figure it all out, right? And now that he's in school, it's kind of blah, you know. Am I going to be able to do anything? Probably not. Just because he's in school. We do have a school trip coming up that I am chaperoning. Going to some kind of campground where apparently there is a zip line. And I don't have any intention of going on the zip line, but, you know. So it's not all boring. As an only child in Wisconsin. And then we have a good sledding hill nearby. And recently we've had some of his friends from school come by the house. And so over the winter, once it snows, we'll probably have them over for the day during the winter. Because usually, like, okay, in Wisconsin, lies, you totally will. What did I say? I've lost track of what I was saying. For those of you who don't know, in Wisconsin, once it snows, that snow is there for the rest of the winter. It doesn't go away, right? This was a shock to me when I first moved here. It was in November of 2015. I'd lived here for a month and a half at that point. And I saw 14 inches of snow come down in a 12-hour shift. Right? So where I grew up in Boise, Idaho, we will get 2 to 3 inches of snow. And then it will melt off over the next 2 to 3 days. Right? Oh, you mean lies? I won't go on the zip line? No, I won't go on the zip line. Like, that's not a thing I do anymore. Okay, so let me address the zip line issue. Okay. I am over 40. So I don't do heights anymore. I'm not climbing ladders to put up Christmas lights ever again. I will just do without or get a projector. Right? The idea of zip lines was cool 5 years ago. Okay? I would have done it 5 years ago. Something happened in the span of the last 5 years where I used to mountain bike. I used to ride downhill at like 35 miles an hour on a narrow dirt track with a ravine to one side and uphill mountain to my other side, right? You know, a real Evel Knievel, you know, danger seeker type of kid, right? Sometime in the last 5 years, it's gotten to the point where I can't watch someone mountain bike similar trails without getting dizzy. If someone's like climbing a mountain and they look around and it's like the sheer space below them going down the mountain is too much, I can't watch it. Okay? So there's no... If there was money on the line, yeah, okay, I'd go ahead and go do the zip line, right? Like, I wouldn't chicken out. But there's no reason for me to go on a zip line. So, like, I'm not going to. I'm just going to go watch the kids do it. Bless your dad, but he's gotten to a similar point. However, he does still love scuba diving. My brother scuba dives down in Okinawa in Japan all the time. But yeah, there is not an ounce of daredevil left in me at all. It's gone. I'm old. I'm done. I'm over all of that. So I got a 20-foot ladder in the backyard hanging off my fence that I will never use again. So, but yeah, if I'm watching someone on my phone go down too steep of a hill or ride or something, skydivers are okay. That doesn't bother me. Someone on the top of the mountain doing the big picture, right? But I've seen people like climbing on these 6-inch wide rock protrusions up on top of a mountain, and on either side it's straight down, right? And that's like, okay, I can't watch that. I'm gonna go fall over somewhere. You have your one wheel, but that's because you miss skateboarding and snowboarding. I tried snowboarding once. I almost gave myself a concussion. I can ski, but I can neither skateboard nor snowboard. And I grew up skiing. So that was the nice thing about living in Idaho, is that no matter where you are, there is something outdoors to do. And with it being powered, it's a lot easier to get around. Nice. Like from my dad's trailer to the foothills is about a 15-minute bike ride. Right? So you leave the house, you ride for 15 minutes, get all warmed up, and then you get to the bottom of the trail to ride up, 1,500, 2,000 feet into the foothills for 2 hours, and then you turn around and you go downhill for 25 minutes, and, that's your ride. It's a lot of fun. Definitely. Speaking of mountain biking, I probably mentioned it before, but in my first mountain bike race, one of the counselors at my school had given me the $15 entrance fee to get into the race, and I got into the race, and I had the night before the race, I had gone out and done the trail that they had us riding. And so I went the next morning and I rode the trail in the race, and I left before they announced any of the winners or anything. So the Monday morning following that weekend, there was an announcement over the intercom system in the school, and they were like, and congratulations to Sean for scoring second place in the blah, 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 blah mountain bike race, right? I have the award still around here somewhere. So I did not know that I had won until they had announced it over the intercom. So that was cool. But the counselor, his name's Tyler. That was his first name. He passed away recently. And he was big into mountain biking and everything. And one of my classmates posted it. And I was like, oh, man. He's a nice guy. He didn't have to give me $15 back then. That was a lot of money. But he did. So, good workout. Yeah, mountain biking's a heck of a workout. My best athleticism was when I was, running cross country, mountain biking, and wrestling, and doing track. And I'd mountain bike in the summer, run cross country in the fall, wrestle over the winter, track in the spring, right? And so for like a good 3 years, I was in really good shape. And then I wouldn't ever be that physically capable again until I joined the military, and now I'm old. And when you get old, you get like old man strength. I can do things that I probably couldn't have done as a younger man. But I'm only going to do them once. Because if I do it more than once, I'm going to throw my back out. So, no, I need... That's another thing about going back to work, too, that I'm going to like is... Okay, sitting here, making cool projects is a lot of fun. It's incredibly time-consuming, but it's a lot of fun, right? I'm just chilling, watching YouTube or listening to music, doing whatever I want, right? But I am just sitting here. So, like, my job is a lot of driving. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to be moving around as much if I were working in a facility somewhere, but I will be up and moving around. Did you take points from stamina to put into strength? As you get older, that's kind of what happens. So, I don't know. It'll be nice to get up and move around daily. I'm not just doing this while I'm streaming, right? I think obviously with the number of projects I've gotten done, I'm obviously working on these off stream, right? So, it's like my day starts over the summer. I would be down here like first thing in the morning, get my coffee and come down here, and I'd be down here until lunchtime. And then I'd come back down after lunch, and then go back upstairs for dinner, come back down after dinner and stream, right? Now that school started, it's go and get up, make sure my kids got breakfast and lunch, and come home. Then I'm downstairs for a few hours until lunchtime. Then it's either go run errands or go mow the lawn or do, stuff that I got to get done. Go pick up the kid, come back home, get him and his homework done, get him situated, get him fed, and then come back downstairs to stream. So I actually I have less time down here, and I'm moving around a bit more now that summer's over. But it'll be nice to get out of the house and spend some time moving around. So, and I've got a rowing machine and a home gym. I lack the motivation and desire to use them. So this is totally self-inflicted. I could come down to the basement and work out for an hour, but that's no, I want to get this project done. I want to get this next project done. I want to get that project done. You know what I mean? What I want is for my basement to be clean, 90% of my stuff cleaned up, and then be working on other projects. That is what I'd like to do. While also being super fit and not have any joint pain. Oh my god. Being underneath the sink on my back, reaching up, fixing a faucet last night, just right across my shoulder blades, right about here, all across my back is just killing me today. And it wasn't so bad this morning, but slowly as the day wore on, that soreness just set in to my body. So I'm gonna go take my ibuprofen and crawl into my bed, and I'll be alright. I just gotta move around a little more. So let's see here. For anyone watching, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. That's my username.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories, and I also make chainmail. And if you look at this and say, hey, that's cool, I want to learn how to do that, I would say go to the link tree in my bio, but that option got taken away from me. I can't have a link in my bio on TikTok without having a business account. And I think what I'm going to do is try and join the Creator Fund, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I've had invites to it in the past, but you got to create like once a week. You have to create videos for sure, and then which I can do that. And just like, hey, here, folks, this is what we're working on today. You know, this little jelly cube. So. And once I have that, then I can put the link back in there. But the link I just posted in TikTok is my link tree. And I just posted it to Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch for anyone watching on there. Inside of the link tree is a number of things. There's a shop with some tool recommendations. That's my Amazon affiliate shop. If you want to help support the channel, grab some pliers or some chainmail stuff off of there. The top thing is the Chainmail Joe and bright aluminum kit. Comes in a beautiful box. It's got a bunch of like 4 pounds of rings in it. There's a tutorial book in the box, and it's a great kit to get started into your foray into making chainmail, right? The next link should be the Mailworks web app. You don't have to download anything, just open it up. And inside there are lists of suppliers, lists where to find tutorials, where to find where other chainmail artists hang out at, and tool recommendations. There is also a Discord inside the Mailworks app that you can join if you have questions. There's a couple skilled chainmail artists in there, and we are adding more people every day, and it's getting busier in there, so a lot of fun. My socials are listed in the link tree. If you want to like, share, and comment on any of my videos or any of my stuff, following me along on other social media platforms is much appreciated. So please go and do that. What else? I think that's primarily it. Oh, if in the link tree is my website, myusername.com, mailworks.com. If you go to the website and you decide you want to purchase something, that's the best way to support the channel. Use discount code LIVESTREAM, all one word, all lowercase, LIVESTREAM, and it'll get you 20% off anything you purchase this evening. So thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. It is 10 o'clock. It is a school night. I've got to go make sure that my kid has everything he needs to be successful tomorrow morning. I want you all to have a wonderful evening, and please join me. I do try to do this. I'm trying to do longer streams. It's been 8 to 10 the last couple of nights, and last weekend we had some 3-hour streams in there. So before it was just 8:30 to 10. I'm trying to make it 8 to 10. So join me tomorrow night. And if not tomorrow night, then the next. Sometimes stuff does come up and I'm not here, but tomorrow night or the next, come back, join me, see what progress I've made on different projects, and yeah, we'll build some stuff together. So thank you all for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. Mech, you have a good night. All of you have a good night. Couldn't do this without you guys. All right. You all have a wonderful evening. Bye.